think I made probably 3 videos, 2 or 3 videos that I didn't upload, and I don't really know why I chose that, but it's been a while, so I thought I'd try again and see if I could get this one up. Um, where I am is, I don't even know where I left off. Really can't remember. I feel like a lot of lifetimes have passed since I made a video. I'm working part-time, and it's definitely good, and I'm happy. I'm really happy to be a part of a community again. I'm working at a local yoga studio where I live, and it's a studio I've been a part of for a long time. It's the one I was doing Inferno Hot Pilates at um, when I got diagnosed, and then I basically stopped doing that. But I've started taking classes again, which is really nice. I'm just doing what I can, which is hard for me. I want to push myself a lot still. I see that tendency in me where I really love to physically push myself. I guess I must get some kind of adrenaline rush out of it. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I'm doing my best to be where I am, start where I am. And there's a lot I can't do, but there is a lot I can do as well. So I'm trying to stay non-judgmental with myself, and give myself the gift of some movement and some exercise and some sweat. Some sweat. So I also went to meet with the local radiation oncologist, and they put me in, I keep forgetting if they did a CT or a PET, whichever it was. I guess it's a CT because that one doesn't have contrast. So, which means it's not radioactive when they put the radioactive dye in for scans. So they put me in there to be able to, I guess, see inside me to figure out how they're going to do the radiation beams. I think there were 2 radiation beams, which was surprising for me. I was expecting one. And they taped me up. He had tape going from the top. Like, actually, I think radiation is going to come all the way up into my neck. Subclavicular. Well, clavicle's here, so I'm not really sure, but I was pretty distraught to find out that they were going to also do the radiation up here, all the way down the chest wall, beneath the breast. It's quite a large area. And they tattooed me, which was something I learned recently happens when you're getting radiation. They real tattoo, real ink in my skin that will be there for the rest of my life. It just marks the area where the radiation beam is going to go. And for some reason, well, for some reason, I don't need to use that qualifier. I was emotional being in that appointment, and it was like 2 to 3 hours. I think it was 2.5 hours. It was a lot longer than I expected, and I had to get my arm up over my head, which you can see, like, that's about as far as I can get it. I can't put my arm up by my head right now. I don't have that level of mobility, or I don't have that range of motion, so I had to have my arm up, kind of like resting, so that it's not in the way when they're doing the radiation. And then my other arm was down, and I felt like Gumby. I felt like one of these toys or something, and I was getting manipulated and moved and pushed and thrust and throttled, and like I just had to take a breath and get present to the emotion of it. Yeah, it's been hard. I wish I had the luxury of staying home. I mean, I also was getting a bit stir crazy, not feeling like I could contribute to something in the world, and not feeling like my life had any meaning in a lot of ways. Okay, I'm back. My phone rang. Guess it stops the video when that happens. So, um, it was really important for me to start working again on one level. And I also am just really trying to make sure that I'm doing my best to stay present to healing myself. So pushing myself as hard as I do is really not very beneficial for healing. So it's a bit of a struggle, and I'm really trying to embrace the yoga of patience. So I'm doing my best, and sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I'm tired. I'm tired now. I'm really a bit worried about radiation because I am tired, and I think I'll be more tired. So I can't really pre-think any of this. It's too hard because I don't know what things will be like until I get there. That's how this whole journey has been for 14, 15 months probably now, is I just put one foot in front of the other as best I can, and not try to pre-think or overthink any of it. And when I get there, I make the decision I need to make. So I really spent hours speaking with the radiation oncologist at Stanford and here in Grass Valley, and I came to decide that I am doing the radiation. And the reason I am is that I just don't think I could live. If I were somehow to end up with metastasized breast cancer, meaning it appears somewhere else, like in my bones, in my liver, and I didn't do radiation, I would have a really hard time with that. And I can't do radiation one-off like that. It's not an option, because I guess they just don't do it that way. I actually don't know why, but I think I know why. The reasons are that they haven't done any studies. None of the tests have. They can't recommend something that they haven't done, and they haven't done studies on women who have only done radiation. So it does show that young women, which I'm considered to be at 44 years old, who do the radiation have a less chance of recurrence. And if I'm remembering correctly, it's something like 30% less. It's quite large. The only tricky thing is that I'm kind of on the edge of being stage 3A, and the studies really are women who are stage 3B. 3B is considered advanced breast cancer, and so mine is actually considered early stage, even though it's stage 3A, which is, they have to cut it off somewhere, and they cut it off right after mine. So that's why I decided to do radiation. There is a risk of, what did they call it? I guess it's just radiation-induced cancers appearing, and that's why there's all this hubbub out there, people saying like radiation and chemo causes cancer. There is any exposure to radiation is not good, but if it's helping you in one way and you're able to recover and be strong and be healthy in the other ways, then it's worth it. So I will be subject, areas around where the direct beam radiation will hit will absorb some of the radiation up to 20%. So they're monitoring me the whole time. I was worried about my skin, but I'm not as worried about my skin as I am my heart and my sternum. And I guess maybe now up here, my throat, I'm actually kind of worried about my throat because I get sore throats a fair amount. And so just like that area feels a bit vulnerable to me. But Dr. Kraus, the one who will be doing the radiation, said that the throat, he's missing the throat. He showed me on imaging what they're going to do. So I need to go back down to Stanford. I didn't complete that thought well. He showed me on imaging the exact path of the radiation beam, and what it's missing, how it misses my heart, how it misses my throat. So I do go back down to Stanford on Wednesday. I'm probably going down alone. I need my boyfriend to help me with my daughter because I have her on Wednesday. So it's not a big deal. I'm only going down for them to remove some of the saline from the contralateral breast, which is the one not getting the radiation. my right breast. They've filled them up way big, in my opinion. They feel way big, even though it's really only like 350 cc's, which is, I mean, some women get 800 cc's, which I really have no clue how they function, because I cannot even lie on my stomach on the ground in yoga class and be comfortable. So I have no clue how women have 2 and 3 times as many cc's of saline as I have. But anyway, so they're going to remove approximately 200 from the right breast, and I don't know what they're going to do to the left breast. I don't know if she's going to try to fill it up. It's going to be really bizarre. I'm going to be incredibly lopsided. Already this experience is so awkward. I feel like I'm carrying around cement boulders. It's a little bit of an exaggeration, but not by much. Whenever I hug somebody, I'm like, if it feels like you're hugging a cement wall, it's because of these tissue expanders. So they're just really hard silicone, and they're like pushed to the max is how it feels with the saline. So anyway, they told me that after the radiation is done, I can go back down and they can refill the side, but they need to get rid of some of the saline in the right breast, because it gets in the way of the beam, the radiation beam, the path of the beam. So I don't want that. I don't want it getting irradiated. It's damaging. So yeah, it's kind of big stuff. And then after the radiation is done, I'll wait 6 months. And in that 6 months, I'm sure I'll be going back down to Stanford, and they'll be assessing the quality of the skin. Is there any scar tissue? I don't really know all that they'll be assessing, but they'll need to do what they need to do. And then the earliest I'll have surgery again will be 6 months later. And I'm looking forward to it. I am kind of getting used to them. It's really weird when I lay on my side. They tend to press together in a very odd way. Thank God the surgeons know what they're doing, because I just got distracted by a thought, remembering that the radiation oncologist told me that the way my tissue expanders looked were the best he'd ever seen. And I was like, thank you, I guess. It's not really much of a compliment, but it did help me because they're so Frankenstein looking to me. But it did, I don't know, it gave me something to appreciate. Like, well, you know what, it could be worse, because it could always be worse. So that was my distracted thought. But before that, I was thinking something along the lines of getting to the point of surgery. I don't know. I can't really recover where I was going with that. So yeah, I'll get to that point, and then I'll need to address hormones and hormone therapy and my ovaries. And once again, I just can't go there now without getting through what's right in front of me. So I've been pretty overwhelmed in a lot of ways lately, and I think the gravity of all of it has really hit me in a way that it hasn't till now. So I feel very sober. I guess in some moments I'm sad. In some moments I'm excited, but I'm not really sad. It's more just sobering. There's a way. Oh God, I'm reading Grace and Grit, this book by Ken Wilber and his wife, who died from breast cancer. She was younger than me, and the book came out in the 80s, and I've been wanting to read it for a long time. But anyway, that's where I'm going. She had written that she was using cancer as an excuse to make her life, to stop doing things she knew she should stop doing, whatever they might be, like stop not doing the things that were important to her. I'm trying to take that frame of mind for myself. I always try to live that way anyway, but there are times when I find myself questioning, like, why am I doing this? And when you don't know how long you have to live, it's should be an incentive to cut away the things that don't serve me, the things that don't serve us, and really only focus on what's important. So I don't know if I'm doing that or not. I am, in the regard that I am with my daughter. I'm pretty present to my love for her, my time, my attention, creating, being with her, having conversations that feel important, just really being as present as I possibly can with her. I'm pretty good at it. You know, I'm not perfect, and I do fail, but it's the one thing that I can focus on with consistency that's meaningful to me. Um, and besides that, you know, just trying to have the interactions that I have with people be honest and be um, open and without holding back. You know, that's a focus of mine as well, is really giving my all and being as honest as I can be in any moment. So if I can do that, I mean, I feel like I've done well. Those two things, like give my daughter my full attention as often as I can and as deeply as I can, and really be in life with her and not be distracted by anything, and then have my interactions with people be as open and honest and complete as I can have them be. I mean, that's all I got, you know. I don't know if I am really pursuing my life's purpose or life's mission or any of that stuff. I've kind of let that go. I don't really have answers to that in a lot of ways. I just am trying to, like, I don't think I'm living in a huge way. I'm just living in a moment to moment, day by day way. Um, that is more meaningful to me than some huge accomplishment. Although I would like to write a book, I must say. That's been something I've attempted a couple of times. And really it's just sort of an expose. I guess that's probably not the word, because that sounds like exposing something. I guess it's just a bit of an autobiography or something of my life. And I've wanted to do it just because, I don't know, I find everybody's life is fascinating, really, if you get down into the details of it. But I've had people say, like, wow, you've really been through a lot, or you've experienced a lot. So I've come to adopt that maybe my life is interesting to some people. And then also for my daughter, I've wanted to share with her as completely as I can, so that she can have it for herself and for any descendants that she might have, so she can have a little bit of history of her life, because I really feel like I didn't get a lot of that for myself. There's a lot of missing chapters of my life, being an only child, and not knowing my family on one side of my family because of adoption. So it's, yeah, I mean, I just would like to give as much as I can to my daughter and to anyone who comes after me. So we'll see if I write a book or not. I do have the beginnings of something like that, but I just don't see that happening right now. Right now, I'm just getting through where I am. And I learned that the incidental, is that the word? Or radiation-induced cancer, if that were to even happen, it would take at least 7 years, if not 10. So, I don't know, it's kind of scary, but at the same time, not doing radiation also feels scary to me, given that I had cancer growing, and I didn't know it. People always say, I had someone tell me yesterday, you don't look sick, you know? It's so interesting what people say. I told her I was going through cancer treatment. She's like, wow, you look great. You don't look sick. And it's sweet in a way. It's like, yeah, I mean, I had no idea. Other people have asked the question, did you feel sick when you found out you had cancer? And I was like, I felt the healthiest ever, actually. I mean, is that ironic or what? I was doing a lot of exercise and eating well, etc., and felt good about my emotions for the most part. Although I am digging deep into some emotional stuff, that just reminded me. This is getting quite long, but that's also can be overwhelming at times. The EMDR therapists that I'm working with were really just doing some deep digging, and it's things I haven't ever really done in my life, so it just feels vulnerable and it feels good, but I do feel tender in some ways that I haven't, and part of me is like, why would I want to add, you know, if I'm trying to get through the treatment of cancer and healing, why would I want to add like emotional, any emotional work inside that? But cancer is just for me, I want to uncover everything. I want to leave no stone unturned. So that's what I'm doing. So yeah, that's my long update. That's where I'm at, and I'll probably, I don't know if I'll leave another one. Who knows? Sometimes inspiration just strikes, but I don't have anything. Well, radiation will start actually probably February 5th. So I'll do that for 5 weeks, 25 treatments. Maybe I'll update about that along the way. I probably will. So, all right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being in my life and for your attention and your care. I appreciate it. Take care.